Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm Charlotte McGinnis, and as always, want to thank you all for taking the time to join me for a little Sunday soulful conversation and inspiration. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here in Flat Rock, and I hope it's beautiful wherever you all are as well. Anyway, got lots of things coming up this week, and especially the 4th of July, which is one of my favorite holidays, actually, because it really gives me time to pause and reflect on really the blessing of being in this nation, being an American, what that really means, and really what is our role in this. So we're going to get into that in just a minute. But before I go there, number one, there is no heart-to-heart soulful conversation this week. See you the following week and look forward to that. And as always, our prayer ministry is here to support you in any way. Just go to my website, charlottemcginnis.com, and you can click on submit a prayer, and our team will be happy to support you in every which way we can, holding your needs in the greatest degree of love. Okie doke. So today, my talk is titled Spiritual Sovereignty, Your Real Freedom. And I believe this is such a rich, deep truth. And what does that mean? We're going to talk about what that means, how we can really tap into our true inner power, our true strength, and our real purpose here. So moving forward, I'd like to just say happy birthday a few days early to United States of America, and give my gratitude for this beautiful country and all the blessings that it bestows upon us every day. I never take for granted the blessing of being born here, being an American, and what that means. And I really feel, even though we're in the midst of what appears or seems to be a lot of separation, a lot of controversy, a lot of anger, a lot of conflict, I do believe that if we go back to our original vision, purpose, we can reclaim the original intent and build on that and even be stronger. And the beauty of this is it goes back to spiritual sovereignty. So we're going to talk about this, and I hope you tune in and maybe take some notes and put this into practice. Well, in the Declaration of Independence, the document states many beautiful things, but one of my favorite lines in this is, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So a few things there. All men and women are created equal. We are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I think that's a big one. If we could get back to this and understand that we're all created equal, that within the essence of every man, woman, and child on this beautiful earth lives a power, a light, a truth that far exceeds anything we've ever even become aware of. So we're going to work on that today. We're going to talk about that today and learn how we can go back and tap into that power and really shine our light so brightly in a much needed time of darkness in our country and in our world. Now, no other country in this world has been given these gifts that we have, the gift of the pursuit of freedom of religion, the amendments, the freedom of speech, the First Amendment. And, I think sometimes we take these for granted. I don't think intentionally. I think we just get distracted. We get busy with life. We have other ideas. But in a bigger picture, I think that we've lost our North Star because we're looking in all the wrong places for meaning, for truth, for enlightenment, because it's not outside of ourselves. It's that still, small, holy voice that dwells within each and every one of us. And thankfully, being an American, we have the gift of pursuing religious freedom. We can actually be Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, uh, atheist, whatever we choose to be. And I think that's so imperative and important to understand the value of that gift, that blessing. We have the opportunity, which I feel sadly is dwindling, freedom of speech. Yeah, we don't have to like the First Amendment, but we don't have to like what everybody says, nor do we have to agree. But to have that right to speak our minds without being shut down or censored is really a huge gift and blessing that others throughout the world really don't have. And I know I have friends who travel the world, do this kind of work, and they have pointed out to me that when they come back to America, they realize that although we're not perfect by any means, we've got our issues, folks, but they would not want to live anywhere else because we have freedoms that are not so prevalent throughout the world. So we're looking for spiritual sovereignty and how to really tap into that and live from that place. And what is that? What is spiritual sovereignty? Well, it means that we're claiming our spiritual energy and power, and we use them to explore our divinity and our sacred relationship with life. It's the pivotal shift of consciousness from the land of forgetfulness, dreams, and unconscious, and realizing the ever-present source within ourselves. So it's living from spiritual sovereignty is choosing to live from a higher realm, a higher state of awareness, living from love, choosing above all else to be compassionate, loving, forgiving human beings. Understand that we're all spiritual beings. All men are created equal. All women are created equal. And really examining, I'm always looking at places where I can do better. We're all challenged. We're here sort of going through this classroom earth, learning lessons of forgiveness, and the universe or the whatever you want to call it is giving us opportunities for spiritual growth. But the gift and the blessing is that when we go through trials and tribulations, the sovereignty of God is the pillow which we can lay our head. And this is another, most believers or most spiritual beings, Christians, salute the sovereignty of God, but believe in the sovereignty of man. And that's so true. It's kind of like, yeah, there's a part of us, yeah, I can dig that. That's cool, whatever. I know that God is sovereign, but maybe he's just forgotten about me and I better take care of this myself. And we're looking for all of these unfulfilling means outside of ourselves to find meaning, purpose, and we're just mucking through. We're lost in this sludge of duality and anger and separation. So how do we do this? We tap into our truth. We are sovereign beings. God bestowed that gift upon us. Our founding fathers really wanted to carry this into, we had this wonderful opportunity to create this United States of America, where we all are created equal. And I know people are out there, and there have been many, like a better word, mistakes, not so loving choices that have been made along the way. But never lose hope or faith, because I think that this is a real pivotal time. It is a time that we can either choose to stay in the battleground of separation and anger and lose this blessing and gift that we have, or we can choose to turn away from the separation and the judgment and the anger, tap into this higher state of awareness, live from that, be that light, shine that light on the darkness, and we together will create a whole new experience, a whole new world. But remember, we're in this together. Black, white, Republican, Democrat, gay, straight, whatever it is, we're all one in the mind of God. So the sovereignty of God is one impregnable rock to which the suffering human heart must cling. The circumstances surrounding our lives are no accident and may be the work of darkness or fear, but that darkness is held firmly within the mighty hand of our sovereign God. And, sometimes as spiritual beings, I don't think that we're promised a life free of challenges. Sometimes things happen that are really sucky, but the good news is that we have the tools to overcome those. And that's when we're in the challenges, in the darkness, in the despair, in the fear, in the sickness, whatever it is, we have a choice of who's holding our hand through this process. So my suggestion is, whenever, in my experience is, first of all, everything is for our best interest, that everything is an opportunity for forgiveness and growth and learning. And if we look at everything like that, you see, oh, good, another opportunity for growth, and use that as a means for, wow, this is an opportunity for me to learn more on my spiritual path, to peel away another layer of the veil that has kept me asleep, kept me distracted, kept me angry and upset and afraid. So everything is a blessing. And some of us live in fear and act as though we believe so much in the power of that fear rather than the sovereignty of God. And to me, when we're in that fear, what do we give the power to? Do we recycle the fear and the story and the tapes over and over and over again? We tend to do that. We go down that rabbit hole of fear, or, let's just say what's happening in the world, both in this country and beyond. Are we focusing on everything that's wrong, which honestly, we probably are, right? Don't do that anymore. That's giving that power. We're giving our power to that which we don't want. Thoughts are things. If we tap into that still small voice, become sovereign beings, tap into power that we've never allowed to emerge fully, and blast that out to the world, that's the greatest gift that we have bestowed upon us. Now, sovereignty is one's inherent power to be sovereign, free, right? It's our supreme power to own our life. How do we do that? Through our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and perceptions. And we have to understand that we have the choice and free will not to be influenced by others or darkness and manifest our life for the highest good. So it is in determining what is in alignment with our divine self and consciously choosing situations that support that without the influence of others. It's recognizing that we do have the power to choose and create light, a world that is in alignment with the principles of love and God. It's also important that we minimize contact with people who really don't support our soul integration. And I think that we love everybody, but we don't have to be around Debbie Downers, right? People who are always negative. Be around people who make you feel good, uplift you, who are kind, compassionate, who are moving in a higher direction. And it doesn't mean that others are wrong or bad. It's just we move beyond that. It's like that's not interesting. You begin to see, I don't want to be in drama anymore. I don't want to be mad. I don't want to pit this against that anymore. I don't want to take sides. That's not a high place of being. Where we're here to do is live from the inside out, live from your heart, live from your light, live from your power, and bless the world. And but it sometimes is a lonely path, because to be honest, most people want to live in the drama and take a stand, and as I always say, we can have opinions, we can have ideas, and that's all good, but we don't have to make others wrong to make our opinions and thoughts right. Energetically, I repeat this often, I see spiritual friends of mine who have been on this journey longer than me, who've done the work, and yet they still choose to argue for their limitation, justify why they have to hate and fight. And there is no justification. Yep, just say, I'm going to focus on what I want. I'm putting my full attention, light, and energy on that which I choose to create. Because when we're sovereign beings, we're at the helm of our life. I'm not allowing the influence or ideas of others to influence me. I'm actually choosing to determine my direction and destiny. Where I'm not controlled or manipulated by a person, group, or institution. I've had to really pull back from all things, most things organized. I just, because I know this is a single man, single woman's journey. And, I know what to do. Now it's just a matter of doing it. And I'm seeking the friends and situations that support me rather than try to control me and put me in a box and tell me how to think and what to do and what to say, right? So we need to have autonomy of our life, making our own decisions, choosing who we want to be in relationships with, how much and space to give each other, and to walk away from situations and communities that don't honor our sovereignty. And that's not an easy thing to do sometimes, but for us to ascend in consciousness, if we're allowing darkness into our field, okay, it makes it harder for us to stay in the light, and it just means that we're on a different level of the rung up the ladder, right? It doesn't mean anyone's wrong. It's just I have to be mindful to choose love as much as I possibly can. And if there's situations or individuals that are not allowing you that, then just with love, say thank you and move on. So we surrender our sovereignty. In other words, when we permit others to guide us away from who we are, which is our authentic self. So we need to surrender to love, to light, to God, to truth, right? And when we live from that perspective, it's a whole new ball game. And so when we're not in a sovereign place, it will stay asleep. We'll be sort of the sheeple, we'll just be guided by this. We'll be mad. We'll be thinking we're separate. We're going to be taking sides and blame and this and that. And, the good news is that at the end, we all win. I do believe that when the final curtain drops, we're all taking a bow, holding each other's hand, and understanding that we've all played a role in each other's spiritual journey to recognize and to learn the lessons that we need to learn to take that final bow, go back to the state of oneness with each other and Creator, God, and that to me is heaven. And what is love? Love is oneness, peace, unconditional love for all beings, health, all these good things, and identity with our true nature, which is our soul, our spirit, rather than identity with our accomplishments or what have you. Sure, it's great to have, degrees and stuff and, nice home and whatever it is, certainly. But it's, if I get into that and make it an idol and identify with that rather than my sovereignty, my true power, then, just another opportunity to learn. So we got to learn our true power is living each moment in the realization that we're our own healer, hero, and leader. Now, I want to clarify that just a little bit, that in each moment, we are our own healer, hero, and leader, because the Spirit of God lives within each and every one of us. And since I am created in the likeness and image of God, which is love, and I have power beyond measure, but I'm too busy being upset and angry and blaming and pointing fingers and looking for love in all the wrong places and identifying with idols and this and that, that I've just thrown my power out the window. But when we know our true powers live in each moment, recognizing that who I am in truth, which is a divine being of light and love. And that's when we can be ourselves. We're not looking, we don't have to be somebody that we're not. We can be comfortable in our skin. We take responsibility for everything in our life. This is huge. We don't blame others for anymore. We don't blame institutions. We don't blame situations for anything, because at some level, everything is holy and divine and here to teach us something big. I was talking to a friend the other night. Actually, it was on he was on my last Bob. He was on my last heart-to-heart soulful conversation. And prior to the conversation, I had shared a situation which has been a challenging situation for a few years now with Ellen and I, not between us, but with a situation outside of us that's affecting us. And it's been a big ass lesson. And it's not been fun or easy, but I was sharing with him a little bit, not going into the drama, just saying, yeah, it's been kind of a struggle. And his comment was, well, I'm sorry you chose to go through that. There must be something there for you to learn. Now, in the past, before I knew this, what I'm sharing today, I would have been pissed. I'm like, how dare you say that? But, there was that friend to friend feedback, like, yep, that's why you chose it. This is a big growth opportunity and it's a lesson. So, you begin to bless these things rather than curse them. And I have to say, I have not been perfect on that in this situation, but I'm a lot better than I was in the past. So I'm continuing when these thoughts and situations come up that are challenging. I see that as an opportunity. And most of the time I'm able to choose forgiveness, but sometimes I have to admit the ego takes over. But it's a process, right? So trusting the sovereignty of God, it doesn't excuse our personal responsibility. It's just the opposite, but it equips me to be personally responsible. So, we can't, this is sovereignty. We cannot accept or tap into our sovereignty or awaken that, live from that until we take responsibility for everything in our life. But it gives us the tools in how to do this. And the tools are pretty simple. Every moment we're making a choice to align with love or God or fear or the ego, right? So if I'm not at peace, choose again. That's the miracle. So yes, these situations do come up, but there are always opportunities to shine the light rather than grab it like a dog with a bone and defend it and argue for the limitations and on and on. So if we really believe that God rules all things for good and only permits bad things to happen for good and the achievement of great ends unbeknownst to us, then all is well. That's because we trust and believe in the sovereignty of God. And, yes, everything is working together for good, even though when you're in the throes of the challenges of it, it's all working together for good. Now, I will say that what I love about the teachings of A Course in Miracles is it says that every time we invite the Holy Spirit into the moment and choose to respond with love over fear or judgment, relinquish our judgment, we're literally collapsing time as we know it. So I don't have to continue to stay on that karmic cycle, that karmic wheel of the programs that go over and over in my mind. And, be present, invite the Holy Spirit into the moment, and the past disappears. we have to be willing to forgive the past. So we can collapse time. We can accelerate this process. As the Course of Miracles also says, delay is tragic. Delay is meaningless in eternity, but tragic in time. So, we can make this a long way home, or we can take the fast track. The fast track is forgiving the past, being present, right? How do we do this? Well, as I said a few minutes ago, supportive friends. We have to nurture, make choices that we choose situations and people that are uplifting and make us feel good. Because when we have support around us, we're healthier, we're happier. Create a sacred space. Our homes, I really do believe that our homes are our sanctuary and a reflection of our energy. So, and it is our safe place to go to. Ellen and I have spent a lot of energy and time creating a sacred place. And recently we had a test done on the house, energetic, and it was like 99% up. And I was like, cool, that was great. So it was a good thing to know. So I also think that, and I say this a lot, spiritual connection, spirituality, I really, and I don't say this with judgment, I just don't understand how people can navigate the world without a spiritual connection of some sort. And but some do. I just don't understand it. But to me, my higher power, my spiritual connection, prayer is the cornerstone of everything in my life. I mean, everything comes from that perspective. So I don't know how people pray who don't believe in the sovereignty of God to do the impossible, because all the things that we want to happen are impossible. If they were possible, we'd do them, right? So, get out of your little mind, tap into the infinite mind of creation, of God, the mind that has created this beautiful universe, this beautiful earth, that we all cohabitate together. There is so much more than we even imagine, but we're so programmed to just see the little piece of dust or the one grain of sand when there's trillions of grains of sand, right? So I also believe that, it's important and very helpful to have teachers. The years I grew up playing golf, I took a lot of lessons. I think a lot of people don't realize that golf pros are always having lessons. Okay, a lot of amateurs will just come in and take 2 lessons and think they own the game, and that's cool too if that's all they want from it. But we do need to continue to learn and evolve. And, I found as a golf teacher, I loved teaching. I love teaching spirituality, but I want to help people find their inner light, their inner truth. I wanted to lead my golf students to a place of their innate natural experience of the golf swing. I want to lead my students, the spiritual students. Well, students and teachers were always exchanging roles. I definitely believe that. But a true teacher does not become a master, but rather leads us to our own light. And that's always my goal for myself and each other. I don't want to be attached to this last week in our Course of Miracles group, Fridays at 11 a.m. All are welcome to join us. It's on my website. But anyway, we were talking about psychic powers, and not not in the sense of the occult necessarily, but rather just the powers of connection that live within all of us. And it says, are psychic powers desirable? And what should we do with this? Well, the thing is, if we continue to give our power to others, seek the approval of others, ask this, I know people who are so attached to their tarot reader, their psychic, their astrologer, whatever it is, they think they have all the answers. And, in fairness, they can be helpful and useful. And I appreciate a lot of what they bring. But eventually, if they're a true healer, they will not create a dependence, number one. They will, certainly be your guide and a way shower. And, they'll take you through the journey. And when your journey is complete, they're able to let you go, and because they've led you to your light. And sometimes that happens in one or two connections, and sometimes it takes many, and all are good. But if there's a difference between a dependence and a guide. So it's all about leading each other to our own light. We need to reinforce the positive, accentuate the positive, right? Eliminate the negative. Oh, I'm gonna break out in song. So in wrapping things up a little bit, number one, we're in this spiritual sovereignty where our country appears by the ego's judgment to be in crisis. Our world seems to be in crisis, but it's, through God, the power of forgiveness and being in our spiritual individual sovereignty, we can overcome anything. Truly, there is no limit to the power that resides within each and every one of us if we just tap into it. So to restore morality, to restore peace, we have to recognize the source from which all peace and morality springs. From our earliest history in 1776, when we were declared to be the United States of America, our forefathers recognized the sovereignty of God. Now, I do, a lot of times people choose to negate that God has a hand in the founding fathers' vision for this country. And that's, again, First Amendment, everyone can have their own thoughts. But I feel that all of the problems have arisen because we've moved away from our original intent and purpose, which is God-centered. This is a country that was founded on spiritual principles and founded on God, the sovereignty of God. And for us to live from that premise. And so, it's up to us if we can accept that or not. And it doesn't mean that we have to be Christian, Muslim. We could be anything we want. We have that freedom. But we all are back to the original Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident that we're all created equal. We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights that are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And what a beautiful concept and truth. And if we go back, how do we get back there? Well, we live from our own spiritual sovereignty. We bring God or love back into everything. I talked last week, about the importance of that. So it's up to us, and it's not about pointing fingers or making anyone else wrong. It's about you, me, and everyone else doing the best we can with the tools we have. And C.S. Lewis, he says, in experience is a brutal teacher, but we learn. My God, do we learn? And so, yeah, some of our experiences are brutal teachings, but they're all lessons. And I'm going to close with George Washington's his address to boy, this small print gets smaller as you get older. You ever notice that? So George Washington to the Constitutional Convention of Delegates. If, to please the people, we offer what we ourselves disapprove, how can we afterwards defend our work? Let us raise a standard to which the wise and honest can repair. This event is in the hand of God. So we want to live sovereign. We want to live wise. We want to be honest. This is in the hand of God. I think that's where if we go into this 4th of July, this birth of our nation, with that intent that we are going to turn back to that which is honest and true and unifying, our best days do lie ahead of us. So food for thought, things to contemplate. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you all have fun, a picnic. Happy 4th, everybody, and see you next Sunday. Namaste.